Hi, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I am bringing to you a little video of sales for 2025 as a person who's been doing reselling for only a few months. I started reselling in September 2025, so math, September, October, November, December, 4 months ago. So I'm going to walk through the sales that I've made in 4 months, and hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea of if this is something you can do. And I absolutely did not go into this prepared. Like, I have just basically stumbled my way through this and tried some things that didn't work, tried some things that did work, and here we go. So, which is really, I think, how everybody learns, probably in any business, but definitely in this business. So also, please excuse if I sound really nasally. I think I had a sinus infection / have a sinus infection, so sorry about that. Also, it is December 31st, the last day of 2025, and I am wearing a tropical spaghetti strap dress because I'm going to Mexico soon and I had to try it on, and then it was so comfy. So that's the deal. Also, Texas, doesn't decide if it's cold or hot until you put on the thing that is warm or airy, and then it changes. So if you put on something warm, it will be hot outside. If you put on something airy, it will be cold outside. So I have just had a shawl on standby in case. So I've also got my little coffee. Look, my husband got this for me. There's an awesome coffee shop. You can't read this at all. There's an awesome coffee shop in our town called Likewise. We love it. And my husband put this mug in my stocking for me. So, Merry Christmas, by the way. So what we are doing, like I said, is we're walking through. Oh, sorry. I'm going to be doing that a lot. Just if it bothers you, please, just bear with me. Peep, husband. We're going to be walking through my sales. I sold on Poshmark and Depop primarily. I also made one sale on Insta Stories and one private sale to a friend. So the Insta Stories and the private sales don't have any fees on them just because I sold them personally. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how those earnings differ. And then we'll walk through all the other things as we go. And I am borrowing the style of this video a little bit from What Megan Likes. I really like her content. And what she normally does in a What Sold video is put the image of the item right here. So I'm going to do that for you. Let me situate myself so that there's room here, so we're not covering up my pretty face. Like that. Yeah. So I'm going to be looking, well, maybe I should do this. Let's see. There we go. Do this. Okay. So I'm going to put it right here. And then I am looking at my computer screen, seeing what has sold. So first up in Poshmark, my first sale, drumroll please, was in September, on the 28th of September, so the very end. And I guess I started, I think I started in Poshmark on 9/18. So it took me 10 days to sell this thing. I listed it on 9/18, the day that I started. The name of the item is a vintage checkered sweater, Clifford and Wills, and it's this really cute vintage checkered style cardigan. Love it. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's gonna sell. And I sold it for $15, and after cost of goods and all of the fees, I make $7. Next, and this is the first October sale. We have, this occurred on October 3rd, and it is a New Flora Port Augusta chambray dress, slow fashion brand. This is from my own personal closet, and it took 0 days to sell. I listed it 10/3. It sold 10/3. New Flora has a really high demand, like even in the resale community. So if you ever come across New Flora, absolutely try to sell it. It is pretty expensive buying it out front, or buying it retail. Yeah. And I sold that for $35, and after all the fees, I make $21.05. And you'll see in this also that there are some items in here that I absolutely lose money on, and there's some items where I make a decent profit, and then that kind of all comes out in the wash. So when I very first started, I was really concerned about like making the most money out of every single item, and then after time spending using the apps, Poshmark, Depop, selling and stuff, and listening more to experienced resellers like What Megan Likes, Mogi Beth, Rebecca, Allison, those are the people I watch a lot. Someone had said on there that money that you have is worth more than money that you don't have, and that is a really good reminder for resellers out there. So what that kind of meant to me was like, okay, let's not like downplay the value of things, but let's really have the aim to sell and to give buyers a good deal and a good experience with my shop. So you'll see that all of the things that either sold at a loss or sold at a pretty decent profit, it kind of comes out in the wash, and you'll see that once we get to the end where we see like total profit. So next one is the title is Rainbow Striped Pants Signature 8 90s Style Pant. And Signature 8 is an offshoot of a different brand. I think it's a Levi's offshoot. Excuse me. So either way, when I got them, I was like, I don't really know if this is going to sell for very much, but I got them anyway. And they only took 8 days to sell. And I did list them really low. They sold for $15, and I lost $1.69 on those. I got them from the Goodwill racks, and I find that like if I really want to keep like a really low offering price, then for the most part I really need to be shopping at Goodwill bins and pay $1 or $2 instead of paying, somewhere between $4 and $8, which is what I would typically pay per item at Goodwill racks, like a normal Goodwill store, not the Goodwill outlet, to try to be more clear with my language. So that's just something to note that I'm kind of like moving forward, changing is primarily I'm going to source from places I can get items for $1 or less, $2 or less. And if I can't do that, then the items I'm getting need to be just a higher sell price. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, they need to sell for more. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, next I have this Reformation Avil dress, and I put in the title sexy, low back, and fun, red chili print. Super cute dress. I really enjoyed this when I found it. It was at a Goodwill Racks in Houston, where I used to live, and then I've gone back there frequently. My husband is in remission for cancer, and so we go back to Houston to do his checkups at MD Anderson. So we're back in Houston frequently. So I got that from the Houston Goodwill Racks in Montrose area. Shout out Montrose, love that area of Houston. And I bought it for $12. I sold it for $28, and my profit on it was $10. So we made $10. Then I sold. Then I had a live auction or a live show in Poshmark, and after I did it one time, I was like, I'm never gonna do that again because I lost money on everything. So, and it's exhausting. Like, I've done Whatnot before, also exhausting, but like a little bit more worth it because people are like wanting to buy everything for $1, but they're not expecting it to be like, amazing and pay $1 for it. They're expecting it to be kind of like fast fashion and pay $1 for it. But on Poshmark, at least what I found, Poshmark live shows, is that people are wanting things that are amazing and pay $1 for them. I'm like, that's not, I don't know how that works for anybody. So, and my husband's being an amazing husband and putting away our laundry, so that's why you see him going back and forth. He's a teacher, so he's off.
She puts it away most of the time.
Yeah, but he's doing it now for me. Thank you. So, okay, next one. So this item, the reason why I mentioned the live show that I did on Poshmark is because this was a surprise item, and that's how I got people to join my shows, is I would, like, do a giveaway. Do not recommend at all. Like I said, I lost money on it. So this was a surprise item. I don't even remember what item it was. I'm sure I spent, what did I list? I listed the cost. So what I paid for this item originally is $5. I probably got it from the Goodwill racks because this is like older inventory I was trying to move out through the Poshmark live show. And so so I spent $5 on it and I lost $11.50 on it. So that was fun. And then I had a vintage Bobby Brooks swimsuit design dress, and this was a really cool dress. And I do have a picture of this one, so I'll include it. But it was like this button-down dress with like a polo style top to it, and it had swimsuit patterns all over it in this very cool vintage color. I really liked it. I was happy to give this one away as a giveaway because I just liked it so much, and it didn't have any interest on Poshmark, and at that time I wasn't selling on Depop. If I had waited and sold it on Depop, it probably would have sold. But anyway, my cost of goods there was $5. I sold it for $0 because it was a giveaway, so I lost $5 on that. Then I had another giveaway item that was like just doesn't have any doesn't have any description. Like it was just a random item from my closet, and I put my cost of goods there as $2 because I knew a few of those items were bins items, so I lost $3.73 on that one. Hold on with me as we get through these ones where I lost money on it, because I think it's just 2 more. Okay, and then there was a vintage Eagles Ridge, vintage brand, Eagles Ridge, color burgundy, maroon, type bomber. So vintage, Eagles Ridge, burgundy, maroon, bomber, oversized jacket, windbreaker. This is also a fun little thing that I found in the Goodwill racks one time, and it was one of my giveaways. So I made $0 on it, and with the cost of goods, I lost another $11.50 on it. Yay. Okay, and then this is a casual button-down. Yeah, okay, cool. We're past it now. So this one I actually sold for money. So this was a Hawaiian shirt I found at the bins. It is Hanano Tahiti Hawaiian shirt, size XXL, 100% cotton with wooden buttons. And I picked it up because it just looked unique. Rule of thumb, pick it up if it looks unique. And it sold pretty quickly within a week of being listed for $22. And with that, I made $8.82. Then I sold a new with tags Poly Champel style dress, size 8, UK 12, beaded, sexy, open back, and thigh slit. Really beautiful kind of wedding guest dress. And Poly is a British brand and has pretty good resale rate. I found it at a thrift store that doesn't really have very good prices, so I did spend $12 on it. My cost of goods was $12, and I sold it for $52, so I made $28.92 out of that. Excuse me. Then now let me move over to Depop. No, I can't do Depop. Sorry, nix that. Now I'm going into my November sales, so this is my first sale of November. I have a Gunny Sacks for Saks Fifth Avenue vintage cream dress pinup style. I found this in the bins. It had stains on it, so I took it to be dry clean, and so my cost of goods actually pretty high on this one. I put my cost of goods as $20 because I purchased it for about $1 to $2, and then I got a dry clean for about $15, so I just put it a little bit high for to save my tuchus. And I sold it for $23, and of that, we lost $1.91. And then we have a Velvet by Graham and Spencer dress, Fiona style classic little black dress, elegant mock neck. This is really beautiful. It did take a long time to sell. It took 43 days to sell. I think part of it is because it's really hard to photograph black things, especially just like a plain black dress. I love a plain black dress, and I think a lot of people do, but it's just really hard to see the detail and like how it fits. Especially at this point, I was kind of under the mindset of like, take a picture and list it. Even if it's not a good picture, take a picture and list it. And did that benefit me? Yes, it sold. But the picture was not great. So that's probably why it took 43 days to sell. So okay, so like I was saying, Velvet by Graham and Spencer dress, Fiona style classic little black dress, elegant mock neck. And the cost of goods there was $2, found it at the bins, and I sold it for $18, which gives me a profit of $12.17. Next, we have Everlane Retrack hoodie and jogger set, matching set, cream, size large. This was a really cool find at the bins. I mentioned it in one of my bins. I think it was the Bins Across Texas video. I'll link it. And excuse me. I was at this bins for almost a full like 6 to 8 hours, and towards the end, like everyone was kind of or the crowd was dwindling. This was in Houston, and I don't like going through the bins when they first release them, so I always just wait. Well, I waited just a little bit, went into this bin, and that had just been picked over by a few people, and picked up this like off-white hoodie, and quickly saw that there was an off-white jogger or pant set that matched it, and I was like, oh, well, this is probably something. Look at it, Everlane on the back, and I was like, that's not bad. Also in that same bin, I found a different thing that's going to be for sale down here. That was a Lulu rain jacket. And when I picked it up, I was like, this feels nice, but like, I don't know what it is. And I couldn't find the brand. I couldn't find the little size dot, but eventually I found it, and I was like, look at that. This is probably the same girl. Had an Everlane tracksuit and a Lulu's rain jacket and didn't want them. So awesome. Good for me. So I had that whole set, and my cost of goods was $4 since it was 2 pieces. I normally just mark my cost of goods at bins as $2 because it's typically $1.89, $1.69 a pound, but I try to spread out the cost over things that are not so light versus things that are light. So if I buy a pair of shoes, I want to consider those shoes just $2, which means I need to consider a shirt that is not a pound, also $2, if that makes sense, kind of evening out. Either way, a piece of clothing or a piece of a material from the bins, I mark as $2 across the board. So since this was a matching set, sweater, pants, I did the cost of goods $4. Make sense? Okay, so cost of goods $4. Order price was $80, and it was bought outright. Someone did try to offer me a little bit lower, but then I didn't answer them immediately, and they got scared, and they just took it at $80. So my earnings after everything is $58.95. And now we're in December sales. Excuse me. And this is when my sales like really started to pick up. I think not only was it a time where people were like, had most of their Christmas shopping done, and they were able to like either buy for themselves, or they just felt more relaxed. And so like they were okay to spend some time shopping and online and everything like that as well. So there's that's increasing my sales. Additionally, I feel like I really figured out how to market sales. Please ignore my dog. She's sad because my husband went outside. Excuse me. And wow, I really lost my train of thought. Oh, and yeah, I really started figuring out how to market sales and like when to put on sales and how much to price things at. So my first sale in December was this J. McLaughlin blue and yellow pattern button-up shirt, size large. And my cost of goods here was $2, and I will make, no, $2. I sold it for $16. I made $10.59 on it. Excuse me. Then I had something I absolutely lost money on. This is a big reselling mistake. So please use this as your moment to learn from my mistakes. I bought this unisex Seiko chronograph 100M watch in two-tone gold, new in box with papers. This really beautiful men's watch at a thrift store, and it was marked at 80. And after looking at the comps, I decided it was worth it. It was not. So I purchased it at $80. I listed it for around $120, which on eBay sounded like it was going to be way below what people were selling them for. They were selling for them somewhere between like $200, like $190-ish. And so I was like, oh my gosh, if I sell it at $120, I'm absolutely, it's like someone's going to buy it. Well, your girl got kicked off of eBay permanently because I listed too many high dollar things immediately, which sets off their alarm bells apparently for sellers. And so they decided that I was a threat to eBay people all around. And so they banned me, and then I called them and I was like, hey, can we fix this? And they were like, no, actually you're banned forever and you can never make a new account and sell on eBay again. And I was like, oh wow, so intense. And I didn't even sell anything ever or get started. Okay. So because I couldn't sell it on eBay, the profit for this was just not going to be there. So long story short, I lost money on this one. So my cost of goods was $80. I ended up selling it for $65, and I ended up losing $28.86. So just something to learn from. Then I have a Lululemon Effortless rain jacket, size 6 in Pink Bliss. And this is the rain jacket I was talking about that was in the same bin as the jogger set from Everlane. And my cost of goods was, where did I put that? My cost of goods was $2, and I sold it for $30, giving me a profit of $21.61, which almost replaces the loss that I just made on the watch. So it comes out in the wash. Don't sweat it on every item. Then I had this brand that I can't pronounce, but I'm going to try to. Dayuno Nuitags men's black, orange, and yellow color block shirt, size 3XL. It's actually, when I looked more into it, it's like a tribal blend. It is a brand created to represent African designs. And so the shirt had color blocking on it where one side was black, the other side was like blocks of orange and yellow and things like that. So very cool. I really liked it when I picked it up. And it was new with tags in the bin, so best believe I picked that up. And it sold within 2 days of me listing it. My cost of goods, because it was the bins, was $2. My order price, or what they paid for it, was $24, and my earnings is $15.38. So next I have this vintage diamond SK brand ranch wear bomber satin jacket, size men's medium. And this was a really cool looking silk and satin bomber jacket. I picked it up, I'm pretty sure at the bins. What did I list it? Yeah. I picked it up at the bins, and it sold for $50, and I will make $37.34. Next, I have vintage Sue Brett wool Christmas coat in red with black faux fur trim, size large. This is something that was in a haul that I did, and I think it's my most recent video, and I just really enjoyed it. It was like cape style, vintage, very like big and gaudy. Love it. The cost price was a little high. Got it from the Goodwill Racks. It was $10. I sold it for $31, and I will make $14.40 from that. Then I sold a Vince Cream Cashmere crew neck sweater, lag and look, quiet luxury, grandma core. I sold that for $11. I got it from the bins, and I lost 64 cents on that because I offered like a lot of discounts on shipping and stuff like that to get it to sell. It was taking a little too long to sell. Then I sold these TM cycling shoes, Slipstream white, marble, SBD cleats included. And these are a cycling shoe. So you clip, if you go to a cycling class like Soul Cycle or something like that, you clip these shoes into the standing bike, and then it helps you stay on it so you don't fall when you're going hard in the paint in cycling. So that was cool to pick up in the bins, and I sold it for $13, and I will make $1.36, so not that much. Then I purchased this new Tag Stod Vincent mini dress small navy blue casual quiet luxury dress for $7 at a Goodwill rack, and I sold it for $39, which leaves me taking home $22.19. Then I purchased then I sold a Free People So Low So High cashmere sweater, black, size extra small. I found this in the bins, so my cost of goods was $2. I sold it for $27, and I take away $19.25 in profit. Next, I have the Hell Bunny Orange Nordic Fox Pattern short sleeve knit sweater, size 4XL. I purchased this at a Goodwill Racks for $4. I sold it for $20, and I will make $11.73. Next, I have a vintage LL Bean chore coat barn jacket with red fleece lining, Gore-Tex, and I sold this for $48. My cost of goods was $10, and of that I profited $26.26. Next, I sold a Star Wars black knit oversized sweater, size 2XL. My cost of goods was $2, was at the bins, and I sold it for $14, and my profit was $8.85. Next, I sold flax linen black straight leg pants, size small, petite small, and my cost of goods was $2, was at the bins. I sold it for $9.38 in a bundle, and my earnings for that item was $5.50. Then I also sold in the same bundle a vintage Eileen Fisher taupe hooded cardigan, 100% alpaca, and my cost of goods was $7. I sold it in that bundle for $7.62, and what this is telling me is that I lost $1.12 through that bundle. However, when I pulled this cardigan out of my inventory, it had more tears in it than I had noticed and pictured when I listed it. So I sent a note with the package and said, hey, this is on me. Just consider this as a freebie. You have $13 of credit in my store. Next time you want to buy from me, just notify me that I've given you $13 credit, and I will honor it. And so the reason why I did $13 is because the price of the hooded cardigan was $13. In the bundle, the price was more like $7, and actually the price of the bundle at large was about $13. So basically I gifted them a whole bundle of clothes, the flax linen pants and the taupe Eileen Fisher thing. But like I said, the amount of damage to the hooded cardigan just looked potentially like it was unwearable, so I didn't want someone to have purchased that for any amount of money. So we'll see if they want to purchase from me again and use that $13 credit that I gave them. Next is an Everlane V short sleeve square shirt in Butter Light. I purchased this from a Goodwill Racks for about $4. I sold it for $8, giving me a profit of 85 cents. Next one is the Naturalizer Hanover navy white women's loafers, size 7.5, new in box. I got these from a thrift store over here where I live that is it's called the Rusty Bucket, and it is by this older man. He gets everything kind of like liquidation, And so everything is incredibly cheap. He sold me this box, each box of shoes that I have listed, for $2. So I purchased that for $2, basically the same as Ben's prices. I sold it for $7. My profit is 35 cents. Not much, but every sale encourages more sales on your platform. So even a 35-cent profit is worth it if it encourages more sales. So the next three are ones that have sold and I have shipped, but I have not received the earnings for because it hasn't reached the buyer yet. So this one is a Dish lookalike brown ruche dress, size medium, 100% cotton. And Dish, the brand, has this really beautiful dress that looks just like this. But based on what I could find in this unbranded dress, it is not the same as Dish because the Dish one is a linen blend and this is cotton, and it shows that it's cotton. So I was like, okay, it's not the same as Dish. But someone wanted to purchase it anyway, so I made sure to say it was a lookalike and not actually Dish. And my cost of goods was $2. I sold it for $7. My profit with all of the fees removed is 35 cents. Or am I looking at a different one? Oh yeah, 35 cents. Then I sold these jazz style UGG slip-ons, white leather material, size 7.5. I bought these a while ago from a Goodwill Rack for $7. Figured that either I would wear them or they would sell really easily, and neither happened. I tried wearing them. They weren't that comfortable. So my cost of goods was $7. I sold it for $11, and I did lose $5.64 through a seller's shipping discount that basically encouraged the person who bought it to buy it from me. So glad to see it go, but didn't make any money from that. Lost money. But so it goes. Then I sold, this is my last sale for December, for the year, this is my last sale on Poshmark for 2025 that I'm going to record, because if something sells in the next couple of hours, it's just not going to make it on this list. And what it is the Hart Schaffner Marks button-down multicolored floral men's shirt. And I purchased it at the bins I put $2.50 as my cost of goods here, and I sold it for $14, and of that I made $8.35. Okay, editing Alexis, I don't know why this happened, but Poshmark, when they gave me the sales report, missed 4 items that I sold, so I'll just go over those now. So we sold the Farm Rio floral bubble skirt in medium. This is a really cute multicolor bubble skirt from Farm Rio. My cost for that was $15. Order price, what it ended up selling for, was $15. My profit was a loss of $3.20. Then we sold a vintage locally owned brand Madewell's Boot Center gray felt cowboy hat, and this I found at the same place that I mentioned another one, Rusty's Bucket, where he sold me a lot for really, really cheap, including this really beautiful gray felted cowboy hat. And it sold the same day I listed it for $50. I listed it at, I think, $80, and we negotiated down to $50. My cost of goods was $2, and with all the fees subtracted, I earned $37.34. Excuse me. And then I sold this vintage designer Louisa Baborian, size extra small, organza beige silk multi-layer skirt, and I found that at the bin. So my cost of goods was $2, and I sold it for $37, and I will take away $20.62. Then I sold a new Flora Amaya dress, and that was from my own closet. So my cost of goods was $0, and I sold it for $28. Leaving me with after seller shipping discount and all the above, I walked away with $15.54 profit. And another thing that I did not do correctly in the earlier part of this video is check my Google Sheets calculations. So the profit that I made in Poshmark is actually $385.11, not $513.30. So that makes our, let me see, let me calculate that. Okay, that makes our profit across all platforms for the 4 months that I have now been selling on Poshmark, Depop, Insta Stories, and personal sales, a whopping total of $517.95. So, still, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm excited to see that number go up, but wanted to give you those correct things, and I'll hand you back to filming Alexis. And that was on Poshmark. So next we're gonna go to Depop. Oh, my first thing to sell on Depop when I started selling there was in December, and it was a boosted item. So I started boosting my closet almost immediately once I got on Depop because I've heard a lot of other resellers thinking it's a really good idea. They don't charge you anything extra. They only charge you if something sells. So I sold this cashmere zip up kind of bright green jacket, and I paid $2 for that from the bins, and I sold it for $7.31. Since Depop doesn't take much fees out of that, I made $7.31. If you subtract the cost of goods, I made $5.31. So let me go ahead and start making that. What am I trying to say? Start adding that up. Yeah. Like I said, less organized. Next, on 12/19, I sold these I want to pull it up. Z-Coil men's black athletic shoes, size 12. They're an innovative design with a spring in the bottom of the heel to help with foot pain. And the guy I sold this to was really nice. He was like, hey, do you think that these really work? I have a lot of back pain. And I replied back and I was like, hey, I've never worn these. All I know is what is said on their website and what they're designed for. They are designed for foot pain or back pain that occurs from standing for long periods of time, whatnot, walking around for a lot. And he was very nice about it. He ended up purchasing this for $24, and I made $22.40. I did get these from the bins, and my cost of goods there was $2, so I made $20.40 in total there. Next, I made, I sold an Abercrombie & Fitch YPB seamless core scuba tank in gray, size small, and I spent $1 on that at the bins and sold it for $6.30. With fees removed, I made $5.46. With cost of goods, I made $4.46. Then I sold this thing I was really excited to sell. It was a vintage dress I'd had for a long time, and I really loved it. And I was like, why is anyone even buying this? But someone did. And I love this person's handle on Depop. Their handle is Flash in the Pan Vintage. I just thought that was very innovative and cute. So this really beautiful American vintage dress sold, union made, mind you, sold for $21. I purchased it at a Goodwill Racks for $6. So after fees are taken out, it's $19.59. After cost of goods is taken out, it's $13.59. So that's what I got from that one. Next, I listed and sold this boosted item, and I'll mention if anything is boosted. It is a Chelsea and Theodore red cotton smocked waist, size XL, maxi cottagecore dress. And this was a really cool one because it looked a lot like those dresses that got really popular in kind of the fall that were smocked, like I mentioned here. Smocked bodice, kind of like a pull tight upper part with your, well, I can't think of the word, sleeves above your bodice. Wait, no, above your waist. The bodice. There we go. So like a cinched in bodice, smocked waist, and the bottom had a lot of different layers in it, and so it worked really well for, like, if you were to twirl, it would have been this beautiful big fan, and it was just very, like, beautiful, had a lot of movement. And I mentioned on the description that it would be really good for dancing, like tango, flamenco, salsa, what else did I say? Two-stepping, you know, anything, literally anything. Perfect for that. So, and it's red, so that makes it really, in my opinion, fit both Western, put a pair of cowboy boots with it, go two-stepping, absolutely, or flamenco or salsa, you know, kind of fits in anything. And that sold within a day. Like, I listed it and it sold. So I wonder if I maybe priced it a little bit too low, but I don't mind. Excuse me. It sold for $12. I purchased this from the bins. My profit after fees is $9.98, and then my profit after bins cost of goods of $2 is $7.98. Next, we have, this one was very exciting. Found it at the same bins as I found that Chelsea and Theodore dress. It is a Margot's black suede leather fringe jacket with side pockets and button clasp. And this is a beautiful, beautiful vintage suede, absolutely authentic leather, black, grungy, like fringe, all of the things. It was so perfect. So perfect. And I found it in the bins and I was like, why has no one touched this? I picked it up. People had just been going past that bin and I was like, what the crap? Why has no one touched this? Like, no one, why is no one taking this? So beautiful. I don't know. I mean, maybe it, like, suede can sometimes look like it's dirty. It's not. It's just like the, you know, the texture of the suede. Maybe that was it. I don't know. But happy I got it. So I sold it for $20. After fees, I profited $18.45, and then after my cost of goods from the bins, which is $2, I get $16.45. I probably could have gotten more if I waited, but I wanted to make a fast sale, and I was happy to see that awesome jacket off somewhere where it would be worn lots, hopefully for like the holidays. I guess it probably didn't make it on time for the holidays, but wait, did it? Oh, it made it literally there on Christmas Day. So, okay, next I sold this really awesome Laura Rosnovsky Anna maxi dress, camel size large, and it's an Israeli designer who is, I looked into her stuff. She's Israeli, but she's moved to America, and she incorporates a lot of like Israeli art and script into her designs. And so this camel long sleeve collared button-down dress had script on it, embroidery in a darker brown. So it's kind of like tan with a chocolate brown or camel with a chocolate brown design on it. Really, really beautiful. I bought it for myself. It just didn't fit the right way. And so I listed it. And I listed it for $11 since I bought it for myself. I just put cost of goods as $0. So after the fees are taken off, I made $9.99 on that one. And then last one for Depop in the month of December. These are all the month of December, by the way. Depop, if I started it in November, it just didn't do anything. So this last one is Free People Kiss Kiss black dotted mesh ruffle trim long sleeve top, extra or just small, not extra small. And this was also Ben's find. I found it in the same spot that I found the Free People cashmere black top. And the cashmere one sold on Poshmark, and this one sold on Depop. And the cashmere one is definitely higher quality and worth more, but I got the same profit from them because Depop takes so much less fees than Poshmark does. So thought that was really cool, interesting thing to note. And I sold that for $30.60, and after fees, it was boosted. After fees, I profited $26.41. After cost of goods, which is $2 from the bins, I profited $24.41. Okay, and that puts my total sales profit, net profit after everything is taken off from Depop as $102.59. And that is for just December. So I was pretty impressed with that. After starting Depop and comparing it to Poshmark, I really like it. I kind of like it more than Poshmark. Don't tell them. But yeah, it was just easier to make better sales, it felt like. And the buyers typically aren't as bothered by brand or things like that. They're not quite as like picky, which I really don't care either way, but it makes for a little bit of a quicker, easier sale. So made $102.59 on Depop in the month of December. And then my last two platforms that I sold on was one, an Insta story sale. So I posted some things on my New Life Instagram to see if anyone's interested, try to just sell it in a different group of people. And it sold to an old friend of mine that I went to college with for her birthday gift to herself. Love that. And it was a Johnny Was silk dress, tunic black with gold embroidery. Ugh, really beautiful tunic dress. I love this. Or tunic dress, t-shirt dress is kind of what it said in the title. And she jumped on it as soon as I posted it, which was so exciting for me. And my cost of goods was $30. I purchased it at a consignment shop, and it ended up being worth $30. I don't know if I would do that again. Let me know what you think about that. Would you? I profited. Let me see what I profited total. I profited $26. So would you pay $30 to profit $26? Does that make sense? $30 went out of my bank account. Then I got $30 back, and then I got $26 on top of that. Whenever someone has said to me, Mogi Beth often says, because she does a lot of arbitrage, she often, or buying items at slightly higher cost of goods to get higher profit. And she will often say, would you spend $70 to make $70? And that does not mean that you break even. That's not what she's saying. She's saying, I spent $70. I made $70 back, and then I profited $70. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying here is I spent $30. I sold it for $57. My profit after cost of goods and all the fees are removed is still $26. Would you do that? That's the question. Either way, friend got it for her birthday. Happy to see it go. No fees other than I feed my, no, that's not the right word. I was going to say feed myself. No, I gave myself a fee of $1 to put into my taxes. So, that was the only fee that applied here since it was a private sale. Then I sold to one of my best friends, was in my wedding, recently saw her during Christmas. And she was interested in a few things in my closet, and I just sold to her at cost, basically, kind of as a Christmas present. So I think I barely made money here, but I still did. Even though you'll see that I lost money on almost every single one of these sales, I still made money. I don't really know how that works. Maybe I did my math wrong, but I think I did it right. So let's walk through this. So private sale, meaning my friend went into my Poshmark closet and she said, hey, I'm really interested in buying these things. And I said, hey, let me just sell them to you directly. Let's not go through Poshmark, because there were other things that I didn't have listed that I wanted to sell to her. So didn't touch Poshmark after that. And she tells me, I want to buy this Woolrich dusty blue insulated coat, size small, and this Jopna cargo jumpsuit in light olive green, size small. And to give her a price at cost, I sold both of those items for $7.50 each. 15 total, $7.50 each. My cost of goods for the Woolrich coat, it was from the bins, so it was $2. And with the order price of $7.50, I ended up making $4.50 from that one. The second one, my cost of goods was $4. I purchased it from a Goodwill Racks. My order price, or what she paid for it, was $7.50, and what I made from that was $2.50. Then I showed her a couple things I didn't have listed yet, and I said, do you want these? I'll sell them to you, at cost as well. So she purchased this vintage nylon teal sweatpants, size small, from me. And I'm so glad she did. This is very much like, this friend is very much like a vintage, like kind of how the t-shirt bros dress, like in the sense of like, you look at them and you're like, that is the most vintagey vintage I've ever seen. Like, it doesn't look modern at all. That's kind of how this friend dresses. She likes the idea of it looking uniquely vintage, you know? And these pair of like vintage nylon teal pants, they were like, you know, stick out like a sore thumb. So if she were to go running in these, they'd be reflecting light, literally. So, and she runs a lot, so works perfectly. So I was excited to see those go to her. I don't really know if they would have sold to anyone, so excited to see them go to her. My cost of goods there was 45 cents. I got them at the Houston Clothing Swap, where everything I purchased was 45 cents. So awesome. And then what I sold them to her as is $2. And with that, I make $1.05. And one of the reasons why that's lower than what you might do math for in your head is that I took away 50 cents towards my taxes. Then I sold her this gray knot sweater, unbranded. I can't remember. I think I bought it from the bins, and so I listed the cost of goods as $2. I sold it to her for $2, and I still took 50 cents off for taxes, so I lost 50 cents there. Then I sold her this Denim & Co. cream pull-on pants that I got out of the ThredUp box forever ago. Glad to see these gone. I marked the cost of goods as $2. To be honest, I don't quite know what they are. I just marked it as $2, so burn me for that in the comments if you'd like to. Sold it to her for $2 and then gave myself a tax fee of 50 cents and lost 50 cents on it. Then I sold her this Paco by Anna. So it was like it looked like a South American brand to me. And it was called Paco. It was a teal oversized tunic tee. It was quarter button up, really cute. Found it at Goodwill Racks for $4. Sold it to her for $2. So, and then gave myself this 50 cents tax fee on that. So I lost $2.50 there. And with all of those things, the last 3 things I lost money on. And would you know that I still made $26 on that? So unless my math is wrong, if my math is not mathing, I don't know. Let me see. Oh, that's probably why. Math is not mathing. It literally isn't. How embarrassing. Let's see. Oh. Okay, hold please. You know, I used to be really good at Excel or Google Sheets. I used to do it for my job. And now that I haven't done it in a long time, I've lost like everything that I knew. Oh, so I made $4.55. So not $26, but not zero and not negative. So I'll take that. And with that is all the sales I made. So thank you guys so much for being here with me on my very first What Sold. Not only my very first What Sold, but my very first What Sold of a whole entire year, which is 4 months for me since I started 4 months ago. Yeah, I'm so excited. I love learning from this. I love that I get to do this as my job. It obviously, I don't know if you're looking at this and going, girl, how you living on that? Well, because we just don't spend a lot. That's how. So, and my husband has a job and it takes care of our expenses. So that's how that works. We're hoping that eventually my sales with this will keep growing, and then from there we can use it to go into our savings and use it for purchasing a house or helping with adoption or fostering care fees, or if we happen to get pregnant, God willing, then for fees around pregnancy. So that would be kind of the ideal. We can live off of his salary, and my salary is just beneficial going towards savings. So yeah, I guess let me do a total really quick of what I made. Okay, so with all of the different platforms, I ended up netting $646.14. Not too shabby. Would love to see that increase, but I'm okay with that. So let me know what you think. Would you be scared to death to have a profit that low? Or do you think that that shows that there's some growth? If you were able, I don't know if you noticed, but like the sales that I did at the beginning, one thing sold in September, like 3 things sold in October, and 5 or 6 things sold in November, and then everything else sold in December. So either I'm getting better at this, or December's just a really good selling month. So we'll have to see based on the next what sold video. So thank you guys so much. I hope this finds you at the end of 2025. Happy, ready for 2026. I know it's been a hard year for a lot of different people. It's been a hard year for me. It's been a hard year, but a great year. Quick recap, I have been married in 2025. I have seen my husband healed from cancer in 2025. I have welcomed a nephew, my first ever niece or nephew, in 2025. So a lot of good things. I mean, there's bad things too, but like a lot of good things. And I'm excited to see what 2026 has. And it will definitely have more YouTube videos. So if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And if you want to like and comment on your way out, go for it. If you want to comment to help me with the YouTube algorithm, but you don't know what to comment, go ahead and comment 2026. And with that, I will love you and leave you. Have a good rest of your New Year's Eve day. Bye, friends.